the way that we think that we're changing the paradigm of how dogs age is that it can be used as a preventative to slow the effects of aging at the cellular level. And so this is being explored in humans, and now we're thrilled to be able to take a look at it in dogs.
Hi, yay! I'm so happy to see you guys.
Likewise.
Hi. So I just been rattling off for a couple of minutes, just talking about how amazing this product is and how our babies have been using it for the last couple years. The extraordinary, not just changes, but the benefits that it's had, that we've been able to witness that it's had in their lives. And that I'm leaving it to you guys to really kind of talk about, how this started, where this came from. We've been doing all this work. David and I talk a lot about what we're doing for longevity and aging in people. And then you guys, Dr. Ginny and Nick, and haven't had a chance to meet Dr. Heather yet, and of course, along with David, you guys decided, let's do this for our fur babies. So I think everyone would love to hear how that journey began, and then what this does, what it can do for our babies, how we should use it. So there, I'll leave you to. Is Nick able to come on or pop into the screen of it?
He said he sent a request.
Okay, perfect. Let me see where he is. There he is. Okay.
These comments are hilarious.
Oh, there he is. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I'm here. Hey,
Hi,
made it.
there you are.
I made it.
Hey.
Hi, Serena. Hi, David. Hi, Ginny.
Hi there.
Great to see you.
So we've been chatting about you already for a few minutes now, but it's just, we'd love for you guys to share your story, share your journey, about how leap years came to be, a little bit about the science, and I know there's tons of questions. So I'll leave you guys to it to get that started. Okay.
Shall I go?
You go.
How about this? Everyone knows who David is. There's a lot of fans here. But maybe Nick, you could introduce yourself to our group. We have a couple thousand people on already. Really excited to hear about what's going on with the company. And maybe you can chime in, David, and Dr. Ginny. I know that everyone would love to hear from you as well. Just a little bit about your background. So maybe Nick, you can get started.
Sure. Well, thanks, Serena. I started my career in science as well, pharmaceuticals, working for Wyeth Pharmaceuticals actually back in the day, making baby formulas and gels and chapsticks and all sorts of things. Took a bit of a left turn and spent many years in finance, actually doing process and project management, and led a consulting team there and went native and worked with some of the major banks, both in Australia, as you can tell from my Australian accent, and most of David's people that follow him would know we're Australian. Worked in Australian banks and then in US banks and throughout, outsourcing India and across the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent enough time in finance to know it wasn't what I was happy doing. And I wanted to get back to my roots of, both pharmaceuticals or working in food manufacturing. And of course, David's always been, on the longevity pathway and looking at aging. And I left finance and I started a pet company doing tracking devices. I had a background in data management and we did tracking collars. We were in the early inventions of tracking collars. And David rang me up one day and said, I've started a human company. We're starting an animal division. With your background in pharmaceuticals, and your finance, would you like to join? And of course I said, yeah, sure. And he said, well, you're going to have to quit your job and you're going to have to, do all these things. I said, that's fine. I actually quit my job yesterday. I can start today. And it was actually quite fortuitous. Dave didn't know I had quit. He didn't know I was moving into tracking collars and things. It was, we were talking about it vaguely in the but nowhere near it was going to become a job. And then he said, well, you need to interview with the people that's starting Animals Up. And I became the COO of Animals. So I moved to Boston. I moved my whole family. That was quite the rigmarole. My cat. And we came across my teenage sons, and we moved to Boston. And that was 5 years ago. And that's where Animals started, pretty much. I think David and Ginny can probably add a little bit to that.
Yeah. Well, Ginny was a great hire. Ginny was a dream hire, actually. I'm not really sure how we got her, but she's a superstar. She's very modest, so I'll just give a quick intro. So Ginny ran the Tufts Veterinary School of Medicine for many years, and is still working there. She's one of the USA's leading veterinarians, and she had a real passion for what we were doing and said, hey, I'll join. And to which I said, really? And so I was super lucky that she joined. And so she's been helping, actually running the formulations and running the clinical trials that we'll get to. Ginny, how did I do?
Well, thank you, David. Nice to know I have at least one fan. Yes. Well,
Two.
no,
Two.
thank you. Well, there's not often where
Three.
you get it's not often that you get to really have an opportunity to change a paradigm in veterinary medicine. And I feel like leap years is really offering an opportunity to change the paradigm of how dogs age. So it was an irresistible opportunity, and the science is so thorough that it's really a great opportunity, and really looking forward to many dogs benefiting from leap years.
Yeah, can we actually dive into a little bit of the science and then maybe more into the science? Because that's something that so many questions have poured in is how does this work for our fur babies? How does this work for the animals? And just maybe, I think some people can make the correlation, but I think it's best to have it explained here clearly because they are our precious treasures. And there are people that want to do it, but it's so new and they're a bit hesitant. So we could explain how it'll work.
Nick, I'll go with the science, and then you can say how you took the science and made it real. So in my lab, if you've been paying attention, we study aging, and mostly what we do is study cells in mice. And we discovered that there are genes that control the aging process. We've been working on these genes called sirtuins for many years, and they make enzymes that protect the body, not just humans, but all life forms, even plants. So these sirtuins are found in dogs and cats and fish, all of our pets, and they don't work as well as our pets and we get older. And so we, both humans and pets, stand to benefit by activating these defense pathways. And so that's part of the product. The first part is to activate these sirtuins, and Nick engineered a product to do that. He'll tell you how. And then the other aspect of aging that affects us and our pets is what's called the accumulation of zombie cells. These are called senescent cells formerly. And these accumulate and they cause havoc. They cause cancer, they cause inflammation, they cause diabetes, they cause aging. And one way of, we think, rejuvenating the body of our dogs and ourselves is to kill off these cells when they start to stop dividing and cause trouble. And Nick also, and Ginny, I should say, both of them engineered this product to have both the boost to the defenses of the body and also get rid of the cells that are causing trouble. So I handed that science over to Nick and Ginny and said, go for it. And I should say, on the safety side, I've been super impressed with how rigorous their studies have been. It's by far, there aren't that many longevity dog products. There are a few, but this is really the one that's been tested for many years for safety and even for efficacy, whether it actually works. And Ginny can tell us all about those results. But in terms of safety, it's been given to many, many dogs for a long time. So Serena, your dogs were on it for a long time as well.
Yeah.
And, so I'm very, very happy with the rigor. I release any product that wasn't working and safe because they have a big reputation. My reputation's behind it, and I stand a lot to lose if it doesn't work or if it's not safe. And so I brought the two people I trusted the most onto the project. So over to you, Nick.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, when we started this, we actually, as I mentioned, we started as part of a bigger pharmaceutical company. And Ginny's background is pharmaceutical development, so is mine. And we believe in the quality and the rigors and the standards that go into this type of a product. We want to be able to know that it works and know that it's safe. If, you know, as I do, I give it to my dog, I want to know it works and it's safe. So, you know, as we worked through taking this science, you know, that David was mentioning, one of the unique things that we discovered along the way was that knocking out these senescent cells actually reduced the amount of NAD that they were consuming. So when we were putting the NAD in, we actually found a doubling effect because these senescent cells weren't consuming it so much. And I'll let Ginny get into the science because I'm between David and Ginny, I consider myself a scientist, but not in their presence. There's no way. So, so, you know, as we worked through developing the product, we worked through many studies, both internally, as David mentioned, we did studies to make sure it was safe. And we did internal studies as well to make sure that it was having an effect that we expected. We looked at activity of dogs and how it increased activity. We looked at sleep. We looked at various parameters to understand how these molecules were affecting these dogs and what regimen to take these molecules in. It wasn't as simple as just take one every day. It actually, we found there was a regimen about it that made a difference. So, you know, it was very exciting to be able to translate it, but having Ginny on board to be able to design these trials and design the science to be able to understand what is an effect and what is not was really great. So I'll pass over to you, Ginny. I shouldn't delve into science too much.
Well, thanks, Nick. I think the most important thing that we valued was getting data in the target species, in dogs. We knew a little bit about mice. We knew a little bit about humans, but we wanted to know, what is the effect? Is it bioavailable in the dog? So we wanted to make sure that it would be absorbed and it could have its effect. And then, as we mentioned, we did do a 70-dog double-blind placebo-controlled trial. And I'm hard-pressed to think of another canine supplement that has had this type of trial behind it. And so we're coming around the corner to releasing the results of that trial in the near future. But this is the type of vigor of the studies that we're satisfied with. We think that this will give veterinarians confidence to recommend the product, leap years, to pet parents who have aging dogs. And then the question is, well, when should a dog take it? And so we think that at about half of an expected lifespan of a dog would be just about the right time. So if you have a certain breed, you may know how long you might expect them to live. Or if you have a mixed breed dog, you know, you would take a pretty good guess at how long they would live. So a mature dog would benefit most. Interestingly, what we found is that dogs who were quite old, who maybe had a fair degree of cognitive decline, who had some mobility issues, that these dogs seem to benefit the most. So that's very interesting. That was an unexpected finding. So the question is, the way that we think that we're changing the paradigm of how dogs age is that it can be used as a preventative to slow the effects of aging at the cellular level. And so this is being explored in humans, and now we're thrilled to be able to take a look at it in dogs.
So in case anybody missed it, the product has recently been launched. So it's called Leap Years. It's out there now. You can get it. Nick and Ginny, do you happen to have a jar to show what it looks like?
I do, actually. I have one right here.
Perfect.
So these are chews, you'll see, little treats for the dogs.
So that's what the jar looks like.
That's perfect. And there were a few questions that had come in. This is, you know, though you're a veterinarian may recommend it, this is something that you as a consumer, you can buy right now. And as David said, this is a chew. This is like a supplement. And the babies love them. The dogs love them. And I mean, I can tell there are people here that says, my puppy's only 4 months old. These are questions for you guys. 4 months old, 4 pounds. Is this okay for her? There's another question that says, you know, my puppy's only 3 years old. What are the possible side effects? I think it'd be great to talk about some of those situations. There are people that want to give it to their puppies right away. I'd be one of those people. Is that okay?
Well, that's a great question. And really, I would say that a young dog has they're growing, their cells are dividing, they have a lot of good general cellular health. So probably an adult dog would be ideal. Now, if there's a younger dog that has a chronic disease that would benefit from support of cellular health, that's a different story. In terms of side effects, we're really pleased that in this clinical trial that I mentioned, we had no adverse effects. Now, that wasn't surprising to us because these are natural compounds. They're found in a variety of foods in a lower dose than what we put in the soft chew. So far, we're always on the lookout. Anytime you introduce anything new to your dog, you should be on the lookout for any kinds of effects. But so far, we haven't seen any. There was one adverse effect in the clinical trial, and it happened in the control arm of the trial. It was the dog that was on a placebo, where he stopped eating for several days. But it turns out that he actually had developed a medical problem. But he was in the control group.
So Ginny, how fast can you see effects, and what are the kind of effects that you're seeing?
Yes, thanks, Dave. It varies dog. Okay, so we've had dogs as early as 2 weeks. There was a large breed dog, a large breed mixed breed dog, 100-pound dog, who was not getting around so well and had a new dog introduced into the family. And the older dog was a bit grumpy, and you think that maybe he was not feeling so well, and the puppy was annoying him. After about 2 weeks, he started to actually play with the puppy and become more engaged. So as early as 2 weeks, we've seen, in middle-aged dogs that are healthy, and we're using it as a preventative. You may just see that they're more engaged, or that they are wanting to be more part of the family, wanting to go on longer hikes, or you have to think about what the goals are for what you want to do with your dog. So I would say there's a wide range of effects because this affects every cell in the body. In general, you'll see increased mobility. You'll see increased engagement with the family. The one good thing about that is we think this is an opportunity to deepen the human-animal bond, because
Yeah.
as you know, Serena, when your dogs get older and you've been with them a long time, you have a real bond that you want to support as best as you can. And so what leap years does is actually improve the quality of life of a dog so that that bond can be deepened and supported.
Yeah. And um, thank you for sharing that. I mean, as you know, a lot of our audience knows we had Gizmo and Jezebel, and they were on leap years. We saw the benefits, the changes in terms of their mobility, their sight, their hearing. And Gizmo had congestive heart disease, and he lived much longer than we were told that he would. And we know that this is absolutely a reason for that. So we are so grateful, so deeply grateful for the extra time that this gave us with both him and Jezebel. So there are so many people on here, and it's more, you're giving your dog extra vitality, you're helping them all with science, but you're also giving them you're giving them a little bit more life. And as Dr. Jenny said, more of that time that you get to spend with them, it's so precious. And, starting a little bit sooner is actually better. I think, in my opinion, starting at that sort of half age, what Dr. Jenny, how did you describe it? If that in adult years, sort of halfway. But as you said, it seems like it's fun for it a little bit even before that. And why not? And what an incredible gift. There's a few thousand people on here now, but there's thousands of people that are not on here that we all have the ability to connect with and share, especially for those of you who are on here now. to answer the question to someone who asked, yes, we are going to save this so that you can go ahead and share this information, this content with, the friends and families who have fur babies so that they can learn a bit about this. And if someone here, there is no price you can put on that extra time that you have with your own fur baby.
That's so true. That is so true.
Nick and Ginny, did you see an effect on sleep? Because
Oh,
we saw that in the mice that we tested in the lab.
yes.
Mm.
Nick, do you want to take that one?
Sure. Sure. In one of our laboratory studies, we had a controlled environment with dogs with activity collars on them, and we measured the amount that they moved in intensity, and we got algorithms and data learning over the top of the activity data to understand what these dogs were doing throughout 24-hour period over a month. And we were watching them, and we saw that the dogs that were on our on leap years, when they moved with much more intensity. They didn't move more frequently, but they did move with much more intensity, which was really exciting for us. We saw that extra bit of activity. But then we noticed that the dogs were sleeping better. These activity collars were showing that these dogs were, when they were going to sleep, they weren't getting up and turning around and itching as much or scratching as much or turning around in the cage as much, and they slept a lot more soundly. So that was very interesting. What we've found since we've gone to market and, from customer feedback is many people are saying this to us. My dog was pacing the floor at night. Now he settles well and he's going to sleep. And floor pacing is a major concern with elderly dogs. So, if that's had a positive effect on even a few dogs in that instance, and hopefully many more, then it's an absolute pleasure to be able to be helping dogs like this. So it's great when Serena says, thankful, and we're very grateful. We're just pleased to be able to be helping dogs. It's a pleasure to get up in the morning and know that everything we do, and even getting the word out there like this. For me, the great benefit is that we're helping more and more dogs, and the more dogs we help, the happier we are. So it's great.
Mhm.
Yeah. Someone's asking about lifespan extension. That's a longer clinical trial that we plan on doing at Animal Bioscience. We don't have that data yet. What we can say is the quality of life and health is improved on average in dogs that are taking the treat, which you'd expect it would make them live longer. We just haven't proven that scientifically.
And there are some questions about dosing. All that information is on the site. It's on the packaging. But if you guys wanted to just give some insight on that in terms of dosing, the number of treats, how it's done, so people have a sense.
Sure. I'll
So-
get them.
Yeah. Maybe while Nick's getting that, I'll just talk about the regimen. Is in the bottle, it's heat sealed there, but when you open the bottle, there's a packet inside, and this is a month-long regimen. So in the packet are chews that are, there we go, the first 2 days of the month. And those chews are a combination of the compounds. You give those to the first couple days of the month, and then the rest of the month you give the chews daily in the morning of that are free in the bottle. And so
Those two kill the zombie cells, yeah?
yes,
Yeah.
basically the first 2 days you knock off the zombie cells, then you support the healthy cells the rest of the month, then you knock them down again the following month. So it's a daily regimen that lasts the full month.
Nick, I want you to try it.
They smell a little beefy for me. It is actually artificial beef. We don't have any animal products in this at all. We can't say it's hypoallergenic, but we did design it in a way that it has low allergy ingredients. And dogs love it. I'm not sure I'm willing to try it. I think I'll stick with my pills rather than one of these.
Save them for babies.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I'd hate to steal it. Yeah, I'd hate to steal it from the dog. That would be unfair. She loves them too much.
And we love cats too. Nick, you recently lost a cat yourself, and I've never seen you so upset, actually. And so are you developing a cat product? I keep seeing that question.
We are. We are. It's, you know, we have to go through the same rigors. We don't want to produce a product that we don't know is safe, or that doesn't have an effect. So, you know, that takes time. We need to get it into some cats. We need to make sure that that's all fine. You know, obviously, being a, or not obviously, but being a natural molecule, we're assuming everything's going to be fine. So we should be able to do it relatively quickly. I give it to my other elderly cat, and he's doing great. So we've had it in maybe 5 cats now, Ginny, I think, with no ill effects. So, you know, we'll move on to a proper study, and, you know, Ginny, you could probably follow up on what else is required for us to get a cat product to market.
Sure. Well, I mean, we're interested. That is the next companion species that we want to explore. And as Nick mentioned, we need to do the studies to show that it's both bioavailable, and that means that it would work if they absorb it effectively, and that the safety profile is acceptable. But we anticipate the same effects as in dogs.
Yeah, and you know, we just want to sort of emphasize here. There's a lot of questions about the different things, how the supplements can help your dogs, your fur babies, whether it's vision or mobility or pain. You know, there's some information on the site, and we've shared about it here, some clinicals and studies that they're doing. I think one of the most important things to remember is that this will cause no harm. So this has been rigorously tested for safety. This is not causing harm to the animals, and just the ability to give your dogs, your fur babies, an extra chance or an extra tool, an extra bonus to live better. You know, we might not be able to provide this definitively will improve their sight. Right now, maybe soon. Even though that's not available to you, at least you know you are giving your fur babies a chance at a better quality of life and more time with you, and that you know it's not hurting them or harming them in any way. And you scroll up, there's Elena's here. She's my sister, and you know she's Gizmo and Jessie's fur mama, and she's talking about the different benefits that it had for them. So if you have some questions, that's on here. Unfortunately, the comments don't save when we save the video, but I would say scroll up and read a little bit more about it. But again, it's leap years, and I'm just interrupted. But if there's more that you guys would love to add, I know that there are still more questions about the product and what else you're doing with it.
Well, I
Sure.
might add one thing about the different kinds of conditions that folks are asking about.
Mhm.
You know, David, you like to say that aging is the biggest risk factor for lots of diseases, right? And it's true in people and in dogs. And so any disease process starts at the cellular level. So without, getting into specifics around, kidney disease, heart disease, et cetera, the issue is that, well, I'll say that in our clinical trial, where the dogs had to be over 10 years old, these dogs all had various concurrent illnesses because they were older dogs. And so leap years was compatible with those kinds of diseases, meaning we get some questions from pet parents around, oh, is there any interaction if my dog has heart disease? Is there any interaction if my dog has kidney disease? And so we go to the literature to try to answer those questions specifically, the scientific literature, and then we look at our clinical trial data. So, leap years has been on the market since April. We're learning lots more about it. But if we get this concept of treating health at the cellular level first, then all of these other chronic diseases may be forestalled or impacted in a positive way.
Yeah. So the science predicts that there should be benefits to many different tissues: kidneys, the eye, the brain, the cardiovascular system, even blood flow. That's based on results in my lab and others around the world looking at the effects of senolytics and NAD boosters separately. I'm unaware of any product that's combined them. But yeah, we do see that by boosting the body's natural defenses against disease and aging, by raising NAD levels in mice, we see these benefits. And we're starting to see similar health benefits in people as well, as those studies are ongoing, as many of you will know. But yeah, I think the point is that it's possible that this product will benefit the kidneys and the eyes and the brain, just like they did in mice. We're not there yet. Takes a while to prove that out. But like Serena said, it's not going to hurt them at least, and it has the chance of benefiting. And there's also testimonials as well. You can read on the website, on the social media page, on Instagram. The Leap Years customers are super happy with how each of their dogs are doing so far.
Yeah. I'll just, if I could add to that, Dave, all the testimonials you see are actually from people who bought the product and love it so much they reached out to us and wanted to talk about it. We haven't paid anybody that's done those testimonials. They are all just people that started the product and saw such a great effect in their dog they wanted to share.
I love the little, I think he's a Chihuahua. He looks all mangy and gray, and the other one is fluffy and brown. I don't know if you reversed his age a lot, but the difference was striking.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of comments from people saying that they're seeing remarkable changes in their dogs. And yeah, we can only listen and gather the information that's coming in. We only stand behind what we can see scientifically, but I'm overwhelmed and overly pleased at the amount of feedback that's coming in about the positive effect it's having. People are saying this is really changing my dog's life. I often find myself reading our help desk comments where people are giving feedback with a tear in my eye because they're saying how we rejuvenated their dog. So it's good to see that we're having such a broad effect. And we don't necessarily predict those effects. We're seeing things that are coming in that may or may not be attributable to the product, but all very positive in these older animals. So it's great.
And thank you. Again, thank you guys so much. I mean, as someone who has been, how should we be, a customer, but, we're family here, but someone who's had their fur babies really benefit from the incredible work that you guys have done, tireless work, because you're in this sort of new category. We're so grateful, and the community is so grateful. And we have customers on here already that are saying that they can vouch for, and the science is incredible. So I think it's more about what you guys will see on paper, because what you'll see in real life in your babies, in your fur babies it's, in my opinion, that's really what you want to see first. You see the rest of the evidence on paper, but seeing the evidence in real life that's what counts the most. So we're a little bit over time, but if you guys have anything else that you'd like to add, any other questions that came up you'd like to address, otherwise, it was such a pleasure to have you here. I thank you so much for what you're doing, and then thank you so much for the time that you're sharing on a holiday in the evening, on top of the sale. It's a give moment here. So I think that whatever we can do as a community give back, we will.
Well, thanks, Serena. Thanks for having us on. Real pleasure. And I want to give you a shout out because Gizmo and Jezebel, everyone has that special dog with them, but the way that you parented those two dogs is just phenomenal. So I'm glad that Leap Years may have had some impact for them.
They definitely did, and Elena, my sister, she's not on here with us, but she's on here with us. And thank you so much for that. We really couldn't have done it without you guys. You guys were our team. This is our field team here for everyone out there. This is our field team. And they made it happen for our babies.
Yeah. We're definitely here for all the animals, for all the dogs and cats and horses too. They are companion animals as well. So thank you very much, Serena, for having us on, being able to share the word about leap years. As I said, it's helping dogs is an absolute pleasure, and the more people we can tell, the better it is. So thanks for having us on, and of course, thank you, David, for coming in and helping, talking, and being here.
Sure. Well, three of my favorite people in the world are out on this live. I want to say we've had a lot of people to join us tonight, over 2,500 people. It's amazing. Thank you all for tuning in. Some of you, it's very late for you, so appreciate that. We'll continue working hard for your family, which includes the four-legged ones. We don't want to leave them out, and that's why we do what we do. We just care about everybody in the family living their best life possible.
Great.
Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
Thanks again, Serena. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, David.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
Check out
Bye.
the site. Bye.